August 1st, I am announcing a new series for me, something that I have been wanting to put together for a while. I got thrown off track with pregnancy. The series is Reduce Waste in 30 Days in 30 Ways. These will include tips for reducing plastic waste, tips for a greener life, and becoming a conscious shopper. I'm going to be dropping in little tidbits of knowledge and information that I've gained over the years. For those of you who don't know me, I am an ethical luxury vlogger. I've been writing about fair and ethical manufacturing for about 10 years now. I work in the technology industry, but my background is in the fashion industry. I've studied the full scope of textile and garment manufacturing from start to end, including going on buying trips, studying what happens in factories, how fabric is produced and dyed, cut, etc. So I've seen a lot of the back end ugly stuff that happens behind the scenes, and that's ultimately what turned me away from working in the fashion industry. The Purist Life is my personal open diary of everything that I've learned along the way in my journey to try to find a more sustainable and ethical life for myself. Just to give you an idea of who I am and what my lifestyle is, I am a director at a large technology company, so I do have a decent discretionary income spending, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to hop on the bandwagon and pursue all the lofty brands that other people do, like Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Gucci. Like, I could go on. I don't usually buy from those brands unless it's secondhand. What I would like to present is a new definition of luxury. That definition should include fair wages, fair compensation for the people producing the garments, a lack of animal cruelty and abuse, and a preserving of our natural environment, including land and water. I also am an advocate for being a little more self-sufficient when it comes to things like food production. So I will also be sharing tips for growing your own food, even if you only have a windowsill. There are items that you can grow or regrow, and I will get into that in this series. So you basically get money for free. And that's going to be a reoccurring theme, even though I am someone who could be spending a lot of money. I actually end up saving a lot of money by following some of these tips that I'm going to be sharing in this series. If you find that one of the tips isn't applicable to you, don't sweat it. Just check out the other video in the series. And if you would like to just kind of browse and get an idea of ethical and fair fashion brands that I personally love, you can always check out my website. I've collected all my favorite brands and product recommendations in the shop page. Keep in mind, when you're shopping with small fashion brands, they do small batches of collections. Like, take for example this beautiful blouse by Eliza Faulkner, who is a Canadian designer. She only produces a few of them. So if you're looking at something and wearing and you're thinking, oh, I want that, it's probably already been sold out, unfortunately, and I tend to wear my clothes for over a decade. This dress here is a secondhand Dolce & Gabbana dress that I purchased, I think, when I was 21. I'm almost 36 now. So I keep my clothes forever. I'm not one of those people who does fashion influencing and tries to get you to buy a bunch of stuff. I'm not relying heavily on affiliate marketing or any other income for that matter. I don't get any money out of producing this content. I do it strictly for educational purposes. What I do hope you get out of this in terms of fashion is to break the outdated concept that fair and ethical fashion is stuffy or not stylish. Like, hello, look at this. And also, I want to challenge the notion of it being expensive. So yes, I can completely relate to that sentiment. However, that only makes sense if you're comparing it to the manufacturing costs of countries that don't have fair human rights. A lot of developing countries where our garments are produced, mass-produced, have rampant abuse and human rights violations. I won't go into the details because I try to keep things light on my channel, but you can look into various disasters that have happened at manufacturing plants around the world from the biggest brands. Now, when you manufacture for pennies, right, and you're shipping to Amazon, Zara, Shein, Boohoo, there are so many fast fashion brands out there that just release in this unsustainable cycle that encourages consumerism. I'm not about excessive consumerism in any facet of my life except shoes. I have a shoe problem. I am human. But I do want to challenge that notion too. So if you are like upper middle class and above, and you are buying brand new outfits for special occasions 4 times a year or more, you have the discretionary income to start supporting fair fashion. So these would be items that are manufactured in ethical conditions in the US, Canada, Europe, or maybe locally near you. There are some certificates that brands can get for ethical wages and things like that being enforced within their factories in places like China and India. I still prefer to support local designers when I can, because you're ultimately assured that the money is staying there within your country, thus ensuring a stronger economy where you live, and who doesn't want that? So that is one thing that I wanted to get out ahead of, because I see that it's the main argument about fair fashion is the price of it. And yes, the true cost of manufacturing is higher than what we've been used to. If you think about original garment manufacturing and textile manufacturing, most people only had a few sets of clothes because of the cost of manufacturing, and it was all done locally, and a lot of times it was fit directly to your body, right? There was no off-the-shelf browsing and that sort of thing. A lot of things were custom made to people's bodies. They would select the fabric, they would choose the pattern, and it would be made directly for them. We are pretty much at the exact opposite side of that spectrum at this point in 2024. And it's bad. It's bad for obviously the environment. It's bad for our own local economies that have started producing everything overseas. It's bad for your wallet because you're kind of constantly playing this keeping up with the Joneses exercise of you're seeing something online, or like It Girls are wearing it or whatever, and it's encouraging you to just kind of keep throwing your money at stuff that you don't need. You would instead invest in pieces that last you 10 years or longer. You're actually saving money in the long run. So that's what this channel is about. Although my focus is on ethical luxury and fair fashion, the undercurrent of that is investing your money better. I won't get into that in this video, but that is something I could talk about if people are interested. My aim of this isn't to say, throw out what you got and replace it with fair fashion and spend all your money and go into debt. No, that is absolutely not what I'm suggesting or trying to put out. What I am trying to put out is, I want you to think about the brands that you put on a pillar and celebrate. Why exactly are you celebrating them? Because they don't really care about you or people or animals or the environment or the planet. They care about their shareholders' profits and keeping the brand image lofty and unattainable so you can buy small pieces of it, whether it's a diffusion collection at H&M, or you save up a 2 years worth of your salary to buy a handbag from them. I think that's insane. And I would like to challenge that notion that society kind of keeps pushing on us as consumers. I don't buy into it. And there's a lot of perks to that, to not buying into other people's definition of what success looks like. Choose your own definition of success, right? You want to dress well, you don't have to go to those brands. I'm a huge advocate of secondhand shopping, by the way. So a lot of the pieces I buy, even the designer stuff, isn't that expensive because I get it secondhand. And I remember when I first started doing that years and years ago, that kind of would blow people's minds. And the fashion industry people would like poo-poo on that, like, why would you want to buy something somebody's already worn? I don't care, it's still a perfectly good piece of clothing, and it was produced well, and it holds up well, and it's unique, I don't have to worry about running into other people wearing what I'm wearing usually. So having said all of that, I am very pleased to announce the Reduce Waste in 30 Days, in 30 Ways series here on YouTube. Each video will be a standalone YouTube short, so you can follow along. If one video doesn't appeal to you, don't worry, just skip on to the next one. I will be covering a whole range of topics, from fashion to lifestyle to plastic waste, reducing your plastic waste, zero waste beauty options, just a whole range of my favorite ways to reduce waste, things that I practice day to day. If they don't all apply to you, don't worry about it. Just pick and choose what works for you, or maybe think about it. I hope to be producing more videos and series like this in the future. So if you're finding this initiative helpful or informative, please give this video a thumbs up so that I know that these are the sort of topics that you like and enjoy, and I'll be sure to schedule more videos like this in the future. For more ideas on sustainable and ethical luxury living, you can check out my website. I have shopping guides, slow fashion brands that I like. If you want to see how I put outfits together, you can follow me on Instagram. And if you specifically want my product recommendations for clothing, beauty, accessories, that sort of thing, I have a shop area on my website.